Hi, it's Maija here with my birthday book haul. So my birthday was in early December and I thought I'd show you what I got for myself. So I bought a lot of ebooks this year because I didn't want to go to a physical location, and also I didn't want to order through mail because there's a lot of Christmas packages going on right now, so it's a bit jam-packed, so I didn't want to add to that. So I bought a lot of ebooks, but I did order a couple of physical comics which I ordered in mid-November, so they had time to arrive to me. Before we get to the books, I'd like to say that if you have the means, you could match my donation of 10 euros to the Philippine Red Cross to help with the relief effort after the destruction caused by the recent typhoons. I will leave the donation information in the description, and that would be a great birthday present. Thanks. But let's get on to the books. First I'm gonna show you the 3 comics that I ordered. I ordered all of these from the small UK comics publisher Short Box. The first one that I got was Sobek by James Stokoe, and this is a lovely comic that has gilding. This is about a crocodile god who likes to just lounge around, but now a priest approaches him and he has to go and help his believers in another city, so he has to get off his butt and do stuff about it. It has a lot of very intricate nature backgrounds. And the second comic is Interim by Allissa, and this one is about a star that falls into this city, and together with this one crow they will have to find their way out from the city. So they are trapped there, and I think the city is shifting around. For some reason this art style made me think of the Monument Valley game, just because so much cityscapes, even though the art style is quite different and the colors are different. And the third comic in that order was Cry Wolf Girl by Ariel Ries, and I picked this one up because I like the art style and it is the winner of the 2020 Ignatz Award for Outstanding Comic. So it's completely done in these red tones, and I think it uses the story of the boy who cried wolf in its plot. So those were the 3 comics that I bought, and then the rest of the books were ebooks. The first book that I picked up was Frostgilded by Stephanie Burgis, and this is a very small short story or novelette, which is the epilogue for Burgis's The Harwood Spellbook series, and it's this fantasy romance Regency England called England. So set in a fantasy world, but sort of reminiscent of Regency romances. So there has been a few novellas in this series, and I think this is the final one. At least it's called an epilogue, and it has all of the couples from the previous novellas and just has a short story about them. Then, because I saw the author of the previous one mention this on Twitter, I bought Tea and Sympathetic Magic by Tansy Rayner Roberts, and this is another Regency romance sort of fantasy novella. This one is also set in a fantasy world. It's set in the Teacup Isles, and the main character is Mnemosyne Seaborn, and she doesn't really want to get married, but her mother is really trying to match her up, and she is spending the season playing croquet, drinking tea, and trying to avoid getting married. And then there's all sorts of magical shenanigans. I already read this one, and then it was after my birthday, but I'm gonna add it into this haul. Then after finishing this, I right away picked up The Frost Fair Affair by Tansy Rayner Roberts, so that is the second novella in this series, and it is a lot more serious, it has a bigger plot and it's a longer novella, and that one is set during the winter in the city. It has political plots and women's rights and stuff like that, while also being a fun adventure Regency romance thing. So those were perfect for when I was looking for stuff to read that was light and fun. Then I picked up another fantasy novel, and that one was Of Dragons, Feasts and Murders by Aliette de Bodard. And this is set in the same world as the Dominion of the Fallen trilogy, which I haven't read, but I think you can read this one without having read that trilogy. So this is set during the Lunar New Year, and the dragon prince Tuan brings home his brooding and ruthless husband Asmodeus, and instead of just finding family gatherings, they also find a corpse outside of their quarters, so it's a murder mystery. I saw a promo line that said, "It's high gothic meets sea drama in a Vietnamese inspired world." And I want to read it. Next, I finally picked up the ebook for Network Effect by Martha Wells, which is the Murderbot novel that came out this year that I tried to read earlier from the library, but somehow didn't try with the physical book and the typeface or the font, and then I decided to read it later as an ebook, so I bought the ebook now. I haven't started yet, but I will start it soon because I really want to know what happens to Murderbot, and there's a new novella coming out next year, so I need to get onto it. This is of course the science fiction series about Murderbot, who is this antisocial security bot who has hacked its governor module, so it's a free agent. And they are so much fun, and I love the character. And the last ebook that I picked up was the conclusion to a series, and that is Impostor Syndrome by Mishell Baker. And this is the third book in the Arcadia Project, like urban contemporary fantasy series. I haven't finished the series because I wanted to buy the ebook because I have the previous two as ebooks, but the price for it has been a bit steep for an ebook. Like I thought I could buy a physical book with the same price. So I got like some credits to buy it. The full price was a bit steep, but after those credits, it was like a decent price for an ebook, so I bought it. And this is set in LA, in like this world where there are portals to fairy, and there are people who govern the travel between the two. And the main character was part of a group who governed that, called the Arcadia Project. And they have gotten into a lot of trouble since then, and I will not go into it because it is the third book. I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at the description of the book and seeing what I can say. But the main character is Millie. She has a borderline personality disorder. The first book was called Borderline. And this one says that Millie has to pull off 2 impossible heists, which I don't know how Millie will pull off, but we'll see. So that was my birthday book haul, a lot of novellas in this one. Let me know if you have read any of these books, or just leave an emoji to tell me that you were here, and I'll see you in my next video.